All right, so we're going to get started with a rolled up blanket that slides right into the lower back. So that's that arch just above the tailbone. And begin with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And it might take a couple of tries to get that roll just the right thickness for you. So you want to feel that blanket in contact with the lower back. And what we're after here is for the muscles along the lower back to relax into that blanket. And now let's start with some active breathing. You can let your hand rest on your belly if that's comfortable for the shoulders. And as you breathe in, imagine that diaphragm. So it's traveling from underneath the ribs into the belly and it inflates the belly. And then let the breath come up towards the ribs. And then exhale from the ribs. Exhale the belly. Breathing into the belly and the ribs. And then exhale, release. Visualize that diaphragm travels down to the belly as you breathe in. And then visualize that diaphragm flies up underneath the ribs as you breathe out. And just repeat this at your own pace, allowing this rhythmic breath and the visualization of the diaphragm movement. Allow that to keep you anchored right here in the present moment. That can be one of the biggest challenges in our yoga practice, is staying connected to the present moment. But if we give the mind something to do, if we give the mind something to observe within our body, that can help to bring back the mind. It's a little bit more obvious when it wanders, and bring it back to the present moment. Yeah, just one more round of breath. And after the exhale, we're going to begin to bring in that pelvic tilt. So as you inhale, and you can move your hands to your hips. And you can actually use your hands. You can slide your thumb right, towards the back of the hips, and then your index finger and middle fingers on the hips. And then as you breathe in, you can use your hands to help guide the hips forward so you arch your spine. And then as you exhale, you can use your hands to tilt the hips back. So again, just flow with your breath. Inhale, you arch. And then exhale, you flatten. And so this can be a nice way to warm up the hip joints. It can also be interesting to observe if there's a difference in the left and right and how they move. But this is a nice, gentle way to begin to warm up the joints. As the weather gets colder, the joints might take a little bit longer to warm up. And a couple of things we can do for that. We can roll them out, we can massage, we can do this movement. Yeah, just one more round. And then pause in a neutral spine. Now, if you do not have one of these inflatable balls, you'll slide your rolled up blanket underneath your sacrum. If you have one of these, remove the blanket, slide the ball underneath the sacrum. Now, the ball is going to be quite a bit more challenging to stabilize because it's a round surface. So just take a few moments here. Just, you could even let, and again, this is going to work a little bit easier with the ball. Just let your hips this time roll left and right. So you're letting the therapy ball sort of massage out the muscles along the lower back. Yeah, just another round of this. And then pause in a neutral spot. Now let's go back to that breath work we started with. As you breathe in, the belly expands, the ribs expand. As you breathe out, you release the breath. Adding on, breathe in, belly expands, ribs expand, pause. Hold the breath in, and then exhale, release. 2 more times like that. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, hold. Exhale, release. This last time, adding on, breathe into the belly and the ribs. Exhale, release. And now hold the exhale and imagine that diaphragm. You feel it flying up into the ribs, maybe even expanding the ribs a little bit. And then breathe in. Nice. So with that breath, you breathe in belly and ribs. Extend the left leg long as you exhale. Hold the exhale. And then inhale, the left leg slides back to the starting point. On your exhale, the right leg extends long. As you breathe in, bring the right leg back. So we'll repeat that. On the exhale, you extend the left leg. On the inhale, bring the left leg back. Exhale, right leg extend. Inhale, draw it back. Just repeat this at your own pace. So we're just very gently, and I should have mentioned, you don't have to extend the leg entirely. We're just trying to sort of warm up the front of the thighs, just easing into this lengthening. Because as we've mentioned many times before, sitting can shorten these muscles. And so we don't want to come into a deep stretch just yet, especially it's cold out. We want to just gently allow that psoas muscle to find length. And just finish off, ending with the right leg, and just pause. And now we're going to add the arm. So you breathe in, the belly expands. And then as you exhale, left leg, left arm extends. And then you inhale, come back to your starting position. Exhale, right leg, right arm extends. Inhale, back to start. 2 more times. Exhale, extend, left leg, left arm. Return to start. Exhale, extend, right leg, right arm. Inhale, return to start. Last one. Exhale, left. Inhale, starting. Exhale, right. Inhale, starting. Nice. All right, now here comes the challenge. If you're on that ball, hands come to the side, palms down, and then see if you can float the feet off of the floor. So right away, you're probably going to feel some stabilizing challenge here. This is really great for working those core muscles. Now, depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings, see if you can extend the legs to the ceiling. Now, if the hamstrings are tight or the lower back feels tight, you're going to need to keep a bend in your knees. So just honor where your body is today. Welcome the wobbles. And now, see if you can do some pelvic tilts here. So roll your hips forward. So you got a little arch in the lower back, and then exhale, press them back. Now, if you need to lower your feet on the ground as you do this, you're certainly welcome to. I invite you to have a playful attitude towards this because we are unstable right here. We're sort of flirting with balance, but this is what's going to help us to increase the strength and the proprioception of those core stabilizing muscles. And then pause in a neutral spine. So you're halfway between that arch and the flattening. Now press the right heel towards the ceiling and lower the left leg towards the floor. Now be mindful of the lower back. If it becomes in this exaggerated arch and you feel any discomfort, you just return to a position where you feel ease. And if you have any questions, please let me know. This is all new stuff, so feel free to ask if you have questions. And now inhale, using your core, bring that left leg up. And also feel free to press into the arms, press into the palms of the hands also to help stabilize you. Now press through the left heel and lower the right leg down. And as you're lowering the right leg down, keep pressing the left heel towards the ceiling. And just notice if there's anywhere in your body that feels uncomfortable and make adjustments, invite ease. We want the body to feel safe, to open and expand. So we're going to do two more of these. Again, engage the core, draw belly button back and up underneath the ribs as you draw the right leg up. Now, the faster you go, the easier it's going to be. You can capitalize on momentum. And now exhale, lower the left leg down. And keep pressing the right leg up towards the ceiling. Couple more breaths here. And then inhale, bring the left leg up. Lower the right leg down. And as you breathe, see if you can visualize the breath traveling into the front of the hips, creating space, bringing heat. And then again, use your core, bring that right leg up. This is the last round. On exhale, lower the left leg down. Nice. And just visualize those muscles just lengthening on their own, using the intuition of your body to find just the right length for you. And then inhale, bring that left leg up. And then exhale, lower the right leg. These look great. Yeah, really nice. Nice. All right, on your inhale, the right leg comes up to meet the left. And just bend the knees, hug the knees in. Again, you're going to have a little bit of wobbling here. I invite you to be playful with this. And now lower the feet to the floor. Couple of rounds of that pelvic tilt where you roll the hips forward and then press the hips back. Again, we were talking about mobilizing the joints and deep stretches. And the hips are one of the areas that many people can benefit from. And in Ayurveda, we are in the season of Vata, which is located in the lower back and hips area. So the winter is a great time to sort of focus on pampering the hips and lower back. And then just land in a neutral spine. Let's sort of walk your body down your mat a little bit. So now the ball or the blanket is underneath the lower back. And you're going to roll to your right side, keeping the ball there. Now, if you've got one of these balls, having it on your skin, so if you have a loose shirt and you can slide the ball underneath the skin. Oh, and I should have mentioned, grab a block for your head. So you're on your side, you have a nice soft pillow, your block. The ball is just above the waist, and then you're going to slide back slightly so that the ball is slightly to the front of the hip, if that's clear. I don't know if you can see well enough here. Now we're working with the psoas, but also we have all these deep core muscles. And we have a tendency to focus more on tightening and strengthening the core and not so much on releasing and softening. So let's use our breath here, that same breath that we were doing, but we're on the side body. You breathe into the belly and the ribs. And then as you exhale, relax the right side of the body into the ball. And just repeat that. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, and then exhale, relax into the ball. And so it may take a little while to just figure out exactly where the ball should be where it feels good. So you can, again, kind of play around with this. And repeat the breath, and we're going to add on soon. We're going to add on the pelvic tilt. So as you inhale, roll the hips back. As you exhale, tuck the tail under. And you just repeat this, and what you may find is that the ball is moving. So the ball is going, when you arch the spine, the ball moves a little bit further to the back of the body. And when you tuck the tailbone, the ball is moving forward to the front of the body. Now, there are so many benefits from this movement, not the least being digestion and calming. And in fact, I've been experimenting with just sleeping with the ball and doing this before I go to bed, and it has improved my sleep. I think especially if you have a tendency towards lower back or hip discomfort, taking the time, before you go to bed to just roll things out. And this has a just natural side effect of calming the nervous system. All right, just pause in a neutral spine. You're going to take the top leg, the left leg, just cross it over your body. The knee stays bent. Maybe the knee comes to the floor, and straighten the right leg. So you may have rolled a little bit more towards the front of your body. So now this ball is just sitting, ready to receive the psoas' lengthening. Now I'm going to add on here, just do what feels right in your body. You can remove the block and extend the right arm. So we've talked before about the upper and lower psoas. When we stretch the arm, we're stretching the upper part of the psoas that attaches to the lower ribs. Now, if your knee is willing, if your knee and your quads are willing, you can bend the right leg and maybe clasp it with your left hand. This is a deep, deep stretch. So if it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. And now, wherever you are, breathe. Breathe into the belly and then exhale, relax. Couple more breaths here. And again, if you're feeling any knee pain, release that leg. All right. Release the leg. Now we're going to spin onto the front. So we're in sort of a half frog. So now the ball is on the front of the body. So it's right underneath the rib cage. Now, if you ate before, you might feel your breakfast, and you can make a little pillow with your hands. The top of that right foot is pressing into the floor. Now breathe into the belly, feel the belly expand, and then exhale, relax. Let the body get heavy. Breathe into the belly, exhale, relax. Just one more, breathe into the body, and then exhale. All right, if this is feeling really good and you want to hang out here, feel free. Otherwise, come up to your forearms, curl the right toes under, and then you're just going to rock the body a little bit. We call this the stripping of the muscles. Now, we've talked about fascia, the fascia that's all over the body, and we talked about foam rolling and maybe the difference between using something soft like this inflatable ball. And we have fascia on the surface level of our skin. So that's why having the ball, it's a little grippy, can help to stimulate and get rid of the stickiness of the fascia on many levels of the body. And then just pause. Now make your way back up through center. You remove the ball. And I want to just check in. That was a lot of new stuff. Just notice how the two sides of the body feel. And again, it's going to be a bit different with the blanket as opposed to the ball. And I want to just see if there's any questions, because I know sometimes it's hard to see exactly what I'm doing. If there's something that I can be more specific on before we do the other side. Okay. Did that feel good for anybody?
I have a
Yes.
Who is
Dee Dee? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. When we had our legs up, one
Yeah.
pointing towards the ceiling, does the
Yeah.
other one lower all the way to the floor?
If it does lower all the way to the floor.
Okay. All
If
right.
it can lower all the way to the floor, and in fact, I appreciate that. When it touches the floor, it's able to release more. So if it doesn't touch the floor, it probably would be handy to have a block so that it makes contact with something. I'm just
Okay.
thinking about that now based on that question.
Okay.
If it doesn't touch the floor, you're going to be getting the lengthening, but maybe not as much of a release because there's still some engagement because it's suspended.
Okay.
All right. Cindy, did you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, when you said about the muscle stripping, I don't think I understood exactly what I was supposed to be doing then.
Okay. So you've got the ball.
Yeah,
I can just take my sweater off here. You have the ball and
in the stomach kind of.
well, it's to the side, right? So it's near the
Okay,
ribs. So
side.
yeah, so it's on the right side. We're going to do the left side next. So you're rocking your body. So the ball is going up and down.
Okay,
And
okay.
so I'm using the ball to go up and down, but you were using your body to go up and down. And so if you put this on the bare skin, it's kind of grippy. And so it's actually stretching the fascia on the top level of the skin
Okay,
also.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Does anyone feel any different in the two sides? Yeah. And I think if you got up and tried to walk, it, I don't know, I wouldn't do it because you might fall because there's a big difference in the two sides. Um, and I always find it interesting to just notice that the left side is how we walk around every day. And the right side, I don't know, for me, it just feels so much more alive and I'm much more aware of it. And that's the other thing that doing some of this work with props, whether it's a blanket or a ball, it's increasing your proprioception of your body. So a lot of times we talk about trying to get access to those core muscles that we don't use on a daily basis because a lot of times the stabilizing muscles if we're it's like when we talk about doing the subtle work how it's so much more challenging um and then we have the big muscles that are doing all the work and the little muscles are just like hey I'll let them do it but here we're using the props to bring awareness and then when we had the legs elevated and we're trying to balance on the ball the stabilizers have to be engaged there like the big muscles they can't do it on their own um, and I think having this awareness of your core and strengthening the stabilizing muscles is one of the most important things that we can do, especially as we age, for balance and everything. If you're using your core while you're walking or any activity, it is not only strengthening it, but it's taking some of the pressure off of the external muscles. You guys ready for the other side?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so take your nice soft pillow and again, if you've got a loose shirt and you can just slide the the ball underneath. So I'll just show from the side. So I have this slightly to the front. It's where it feels good in your body. So depending on where your tightness is and if things are too tight, and I guess I should have mentioned this, if when you roll onto your stomach, it's too much, stay on your side because again um for many people if you do a lot of core work core strengthening work coming sort of belly down it might be too much at this point so when you get here just practice your breath you breathe into the belly and the ribs and then exhale intentionally get heavy breathe in the belly and the ribs expand and then exhale, get heavy. Just repeat that. And so when we talk about sort of an Ayurvedic or a seasonal practice, we consider the elements and the qualities of the elements. So
Should the ball,
winter's, what's
should,
that?
should the ball be pressing against my ribs?
Yes, you're going to feel it on your ribs. Yeah. Yeah. So we think of cold, we think of wind, we think of lightness, crisp. You just think about the activities of the adjectives of how you might describe the weather today. And so we bring balance by the opposite heavy, warm, grounded. So you may feel as you practice the breath, maybe, you may feel the area underneath the ball getting warmer. You want to encourage heaviness. And now the other adjective is dry, which can include our joints. So movement is what's going to help to lubricate the joints. So let's start with the hips. So as you inhale, you arch the lower back and you may feel the ball roll towards the front of the body. And then there's that tuck. And then you arch. And when I say the word tuck, I want to just I'm saying that's sort of the gross word, and that's what we start off with before we move to more subtle. But I just want to make sure that as you go through this sort of flow between arching and tucking, try to invite softness so that you're not overarching or not over tucking. And can everyone feel, if you have the ball, if you feel the blanket, you're not necessarily going to feel this. Can you feel it rolling from back to front as you do this arching and tucking? Okay, good. All right, and then pause in a neutral spine. And you'll let that right leg cross the body. So you're in sort of a half frog. And you can remove the block at this point and extend that left arm. So now the left arm is making a pillow. So this is allowing the ball to go deeper into our body. We got rid of that block, so now we're getting heavier. So again, this is a progression. If this doesn't feel good, you just stay in the previous sort of variation of this. And maybe the two sides are different. So maybe this other side, you could bend the knee and clasp it with the right hand, bend the left knee and clasp it. And just notice what you feel under the ball. Now, the left side may be a little more bubbly. You may be feeling a little bit more digestive feedback here. This is the sort of the end of the digestive process. And now add the breath. As you breathe in, the belly expands. As you breathe out, the body gets heavy, the ball goes a little deeper in. Just find your natural breath. See if you can lengthen the inhale and the exhale and the transition time between the two. Yeah, just another round. Release the left leg. And if you're ready, willing, and able, spin your body so that now your chest, your torso is facing straight down towards the mat. So the ball is going to move so that it's on the left front side of your body. And if it feels comfortable, you can make a pillow with your hands. If that's too deep, you could always use your block. Stay up a little higher. And you don't want to rush the body. This is a great exercise in listening and checking in with the body. And now, if it feels all right, you breathe in and inflate the body. This is going to intensify the sensation. So just do it to the degree that your body is signaling that it's willing and able to do. Exhale, soften the body. And again, the sensations for most people are going to be stronger on the left side. So you may not be doing what you did on the right side. Just a couple more rounds. And after the next breath, transition up onto your forearms, curl the left toes under. And then there's that stripping of the muscle where we slide our body up and down. And you feel the body, you feel the ball roll. And then pause. And let's just transition back to seated. You can remove the ball, come up to seated, do a little check-in on the two sides of the body. You're going to want to just check in and see how everybody's doing. Good. All right. Um, so let's do a little bit of a flow. Um, how is everyone with knee down lunges? I want to just check because I know there's maybe some cranky knees. Anyone would prefer to do something different? We can totally do something different. Everyone's knees are okay with that?
I haven't done one in a while. I don't know.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. So why don't we take it for a little test drive and see? We'll do it very slowly. The reason I'm saying that is because we've done a lot of work here. Um, I'm interested to just see how your low lunges feel. Um, I would use a blanket to pad your knees. So just set that up and we'll start in table. Fingers spread wide. Again, we've done the pelvic tilt. So as you inhale, that same pelvic tilt, but now you can let the thoracic and even the cervical spine come into it. So you've got the full arch. And then there's that little tucking of the tail underneath, and let that rounding ripple through the whole spine. And just flow between these two. Nice. All right, on your exhale, toes are curled under. Just press the hips towards the knees. Sorry, towards the heels, and then come back up. So just warming up the thighs. A little stretch back, and then back to neutral. So how's everyone's knees feeling with this?
Okay, so far.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just let me know because we can definitely do other things. All right, so come back to your table. Now, this is kind of the tricky part. Getting your right foot in between your hands. So a lot of times it doesn't look very pretty. Let me just reposition this. All right, how is that feeling? The right leg here. Oh, this is a great place for blocks. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. So have your blocks to the front. That will allow your spine to find more length. Okay, so Yvonne and Cindy, how does this feel?
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so try to keep the knee behind the ankle. So maybe it means shimmying the foot forward. And then we're just going to lengthen. So it doesn't have to come straight and then bend. This is a nice way to warm up the knee joint, the ankle joint, the hip joint. So we talked about doing some, joint mobilization and then some deep stretches. Now, next time the right knee's straight, pause here. You might want to take your blocks a little bit closer towards you and flex the right foot. Now we're going to do a little pulsation. As you exhale, the elbows bend and you drop a little deeper. So you're going to feel that stretch in the hamstring. As you inhale, straighten the elbows, rise up. Exhale, bend and lower. Inhale, press and rise. All right, just keep repeating that. I want to just take a look here. Nice. So as you're bending the elbows, you're looking for a nice stretch along the lower back. So you're not trying to get your nose to your knee or anything. It's just you're guided by the sensations of stretching and lengthening. Just feel good sensations. All right, next time the elbows are straight, pause here. And let's rebend that right knee. You can walk your hands forward. Take your blocks in your hands so they frame the front foot. And I like to turn my back toes under. Now you could stay right here. So are y'all feeling a stretch in that back hip?
Mhm.
Now let's just experiment with hugging the front heel and the back knee towards each other. So it's like you're shortening the mat. So if you're loose ligaments, we've talked about this before, this is increasing the stability. Now the opposite, imagine you're stretching them apart and then find the place in the middle. So an observer from the outside will probably not notice anything as you do that. Now, maybe you take your hands to that front thigh. That's going to put more pressure on that back knee. So it may not work for everybody. And then we talked about how when the arm comes up, that's stretching the psoas even more. And then maybe you arch to the right. That's going to throw off your balance. Press into the right big toe. So you could do this with the hand on the hip also. And then come back to center. Take the hands to the block. Take the right knee back to meet the left. Notice any difference in the two sides of the body.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the other side. So the left leg comes forward, and again, there's creative ways to get there. And begin, this is a nice joint warm up. So you straighten and bend. And just watch the front knee. You want to keep it behind the front toes. And as you're doing this, especially when you straighten the front leg, just notice the sensations in the hamstring and the lower back. You want to try to resist the tendency to round in order to get deeper into this pose. So again, we're practicing listening to the body. Yeah, next time that left leg is straight, pause here, flex the foot, walk the hands back a little bit closer. That's going to allow you to stay upright. And then the elbows bend and you lower the ribs in the direction of the thighs. They're not going to touch. And then straight. And exhale, you lower. Just again, with the rhythm of the breath. We call this a pulsation. So we're not bouncing. We're pulsing with the breath. Nice. Yeah, these look nice. Pause next time the elbows are straight, and then rebend the knee. Walk the blocks towards the front of your mat. Hug the legs in, so it's like you're trying to shorten the mat. And then stretch the legs apart. And then find the place in the middle. Now, option to take the hands to that front thigh. Now, that back knee, you're in front of the knee. You're not right on the knee. And maybe you extend the right arm up. So several things happen here. You become a little more wobbly because we've lost some of our grounding as we reach the arm up. And now you could try stretching and arching towards the left. I come back to the center. Take that left knee back to meet the right and just slide the blocks to the side. And we'll take a little, let me see the time. Yeah, we'll take a little sequence into pigeon that was requested. Fingers are spread wide, toes curl under, and then float the knees off the mat. So we're going to keep the knees bent. We're going to try to find length in the lower back. And then begin to stretch the legs long. Now, can you look towards the back of your mat? See the alignment of the feet? You want to see the heels a little wider than the toes. And now you can begin just pedaling out the legs. A nice way to Stretch out the calves. Just do this at a pace that feels right for you. You may find that one calf is a little tighter. You want to hold it longer. And then pause in a dog that's comfortable for you. Walk your hands back to your feet so you're in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Knees are bent. And then inhale, rise up. Take a gentle back bend. Pause here. Feel the front of the hips gently stretching. Nice. Root down through the heels. Feel a lightness in the front of the body and a grounding through the back of the body. Then hands come to the hips, and you'll make your way to the front of your space. Check the alignment of the feet. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. Exhale, you fold forward. Press into the legs, nice long spine. On your exhale, step back to warrior two. We're going to get the hips ready for our pigeon. So that front knee tracking towards the second and third toe. And just straighten and then bend. Again, mobilizing the joints. Warming up those muscles. Pause. Take the wrists in front of you, cross them, then stretch and open up. Warrior two. Take a couple of breaths here. And then flow in and out. Feel free to just linger and hold the pause if you were looking for longer holds. That would be more stretching the muscles. This sort of in and out rhythmic movement is more for joints. The longer hold is more of that earth and fire element. The flowing in and out, more the water element. All right, let's meet up in a hold. And then exhale, windmill the hands to the front of your mat. Step the back foot up to meet the front, the back leg up to meet the front leg, and then inhale, rise, gentle back bend again. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. On your exhale, a right leg steps back. This time, come into your warrior two. Check the alignment of that front knee. And let's flow with the breath in and out. Maybe just notice how this feels both physically and energetically, and whether you'd rather just do, whether you'd rather take a longer hold, whether that quality of stillness works better for you. And then let's meet up in a hold. You're in your warrior two. Windmill the hands to the front of the mat. Step the back foot up to meet the front. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. And exhale, fold. Press into the thighs, nice long spine. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, release the arms down. All right, so let's do a standing balance pose. If you want to get close to a wall or close to a chair. And this is sort of a preparatory for pigeon pose. So we're going to start off in a tree pose. So start off with the weight on the left foot. You come onto the ball of the right, and the right heel rests on the inside of the left leg. So you still have the ball of the right foot here. And with both feet on the ground, we can work a little bit more on alignment because the balance is taking a little bit less of our focus. So see if you can keep the hips open. Think about rooting from the tailbone down and roll the shoulders back. So feel free to stay here. Feel this opening of the right hip. Maybe you take the foot to the inside, just underneath the knee. Now, the other option, if you want to take this into sort of the half pigeon here, the right ankle rests just above the knee. And then you can begin to sort of, I'll come to the side here. You can begin to sort of stick the tailbone back. It's kind of like if you were doing a squat and sit into it. And then palms can come to the center. So again, there's lots of different trees. That's what makes a beautiful forest. Just choose the tree variation that works for you. Now, keeping this foot flexed can help protect the knee. So keeping that right foot flexed. And then let's release out of this, 2 feet on the ground. Let's do the other side. Weights on the right foot. You come onto the ball of the left and just begin by letting the heel rest. And then align the hips. Just feel that gradual opening and stretch in the inner left thigh. Tailbone long, belly lifting up, shoulders rolling back. Now, can you maintain that as you slide the foot up? So now we're balancing a little bit. So we might, that's shifting our awareness, shifting our resources away from all these other alignments. Maybe you cross the ankle over and sort of sit down like you would in a squat, where the spine stays long, the tailbone's going back, the left foot is flexed, the breath is intentional. And then release out of that when you're ready. All right. So we're going to head towards pigeon. We'll take a downward dog, a little bit of a core, and then we'll come into pigeon. You could take this on your back. I know a couple of you have sort of knee concerns. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. On your exhale, fold halfway. Press the hands into the legs, nice long spine. On your exhale, hands come back. Step back to a plank. And you can lower your knees down if you like. Shift the weight forward so that it's over the finger. It's beyond the wrists. Engage the core. Really press out through the heels. And then the elbows bend in towards the body. And come into a back bend of your choice. So it could be Sphinx pose, could be up dog, could be cobra. Wherever you are, slide the shoulders down the back of the body. Think about drawing the bottom tips of the shoulders towards each other. And then press into the tops of the feet. Lift up, roll over the toes. Easier said than done. But that's a great thing to practice because the tops of our feet can get really stiff. And just pedal out the legs. Float the right leg up. Open up that hip. Level off the hip. On your inhale, slide the shoulders over the wrists again, similar to our plank. You've got the right knee, you're hugging it in towards the ribs. And then take the pigeon of your choice. Now, if you've got, I should have mentioned this, but I just thought of it. If you have that ball or the rolled up blanket nearby, you could put it underneath the right hip.
So stiff.
Does that feel all right?
Yep.
And then if you like, you could drop on down for more restorative variation. So again, getting closer to the ground.
Hmm.
And actually, I'm just kind of playing around. I moved the ball to under the left hip, and that feels kind of nice. It's actually above the left hip, similar to where we had it when we were doing all the other warm-ups.
Hmm.
And let's do that belly breath that we've been practicing. As you breathe in, breath travels into the belly and then the ribs. Maintain it for a little bit. And then exhale. Visualize the diaphragm flying up under the ribs. Hold the exhale. Then inhale into the belly and the ribs. Exhale, diaphragm flying under the ribs. Just repeat this at your pace. So when we do this sort of more intentional breath, we're stretching those deep, deep muscles. We're working the muscles of the diaphragm. And again, it can also direct our mind so that it's less likely to bounce around. Couple more breaths. And then slowly make your way up. Press back to downward dog when you're ready. Just explore what every sort of movements. Again, this is a really powerful part of the practice. Just noticing what parts of your body need to stretch. Which one need more ease? Strengthen that relationship between your mind and your body. And then float the left leg up. Just open up the hip a moment. Just a nice stretch in the front of the hip. And then level off the hip. Bring that left knee into the rib cage. You're pressing into the hands. And then lower that left leg down. Again, take a moment, just sort of shimmying and shifting until you find the right configuration for your body. Maybe explore placing the therapy ball maybe under the hip or maybe underneath the front of the right hip. So back of the left hip, front of the right hip, anywhere you feel like it would be therapeutic for your body. Dropping down whenever you're ready. And of course, if this bothers the knee, you're on your back. And then see if you can invite quiet, invite stillness, invite curiosity. And then invite that belly breath, the rib breath, retain. Then exhale, diaphragm flies under the ribs. And repeat. And when you feel complete, make your way up. And again, if you feel like you're one of those people who feel like pigeon's never long enough, feel free to stay there. We're just going to be cooling down and entering and preparing for Shavasana. So if you want longer pigeon, this is time to perhaps get your fill. And then transition as you like, taking the counter stretches. And no hurry at all, but you can put on layers. We'll meet up on the mat and take your time to, we'll do one spinal twist before official Shavasana, but there's no hurry to get here. Take your time. This is, I think it can be really important to begin to incorporate specific timelines for your practice in terms of how much stretch, how much relaxation your body needs. So when yoga originated, it was all one-on-one because every body is different. And part of my intention is helping you to develop that insight so you can make adjustments so that this practice is just what your body needs. All right, when you're ready, willing, and able, you take the tie and place it on the right leg, extend that right leg up to the ceiling, extend the left leg long. This might feel kind of familiar to the beginning of practice, although we don't have a ball underneath our tailbone. And then let the tie come in the left hand and that right leg comes across the body. And just imagine this is like a good morning stretch. You can place something underneath that right leg if you like. Now we're twisted, which can affect your ability to take deep breaths. But see if you can breathe into the belly here and the ribs. And watch the diaphragm fly up under the ribs. Repeat this with a pace that feels right for you. If you can keep your attention right here in this present moment, observing the sensations. And next inhale, bring that right leg up, remove the tie, give it a little hug. Enjoy a few breaths. A nice full body stretch. And the left leg comes in, you take the tie, the left leg, and just notice if having that right knee bent feels better in your body or having it extended long. Allow the back leg to just find its length. And tie in the right hand, and that left leg comes across the body. Again, good morning stretch. Stretching to the point where it feels good and not beyond that. Receive the breath deep in the belly and then up to the ribs. And then watch the diaphragm fly up underneath the rib cage, releasing the breath from the belly and the ribs. And let the next in-breath bring that left leg back. Remove the tie, hug the knee. Enjoy a few breaths. Stand there, left leg long. Receive Shavasana. And we are right up to 10:45. So if you need to leave, sorry, we're going a little bit late. I just want to give you a heads up on the timing. And we'll offer a short Shavasana if you'd like to hang out. Now let your body get heavy and receive the surface underneath you. Receive the floor. Allow the muscles to soften. See if you can keep your attention here on the body, on the breath. Allow the next breath to be a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. And invite gentle movements. Let those movements grow into larger movements. When you're ready, you can transition to your side. Take a moment, enjoy a pause. When you're ready, transition up to seated. If you'd like to join in a chant of Om, take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me.